Hello there, everyone. Welcome. Is everyone here so far from New York? If you want to go ahead and just put that in the chat, where are you dialing in from? We are super excited to have this session today. And we're going to be starting in just another minute or so, giving folks a few minutes to get here. Again, this is going to be an engaging conversation with myself and Deepali from Fearless Plus. And so, I'm super excited to have that conversation. And I'll let you know who I am and why I'm here doing this series this time around. Okay, I see some New Yorkers. Hello, everyone. This might come as a sad news. I am in New York, but I don't know what I'm just in Harlem, I guess Central Harlem. I don't have a fancy Upper East Side, Upper West Side, UWS. I'm just in Harlem.
A great place to be.
Yeah. All right, we're just gonna give another minute. Okay, yes, Harlem is definitely a jewel, and I'm finding out so many gems. I grew up in the Bronx, but Harlem, even though it's a train ride away, is a whole new world. And as you go down more into Manhattan, it's a whole other new world. New York is a small, big place.
We got to give a shout out to the Bronx. I feel my husband was born and raised in the Bronx. And I feel that anytime I'm on anywhere, the Bronx is brought up, like boogie down Bronx. There's always somebody from the Bronx.
Yes, we are small but mighty. We travel, we go. Awesome. So we're gonna kick it off. Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. And if you're watching the replay, hello to you all. My name is Georgie-Ann Getton. I am the CEO and founder of GSD Solutions, where we help organizations connect with communities as well as their customers through technology and different SaaS products and tools. I am also a board member on the New York Tech Alliance board. And today we're going to be having the Female Founder Series featuring the amazing Deepali from Fearless Plus, and she's going to tell you a little bit about herself in just a moment. This Female Founder Series was started a few years ago by the New York Tech Alliance to spotlight women in tech doing amazing work. And I'm going to be your host for today as we continue to have transitions and the New York Tech Alliance continues to grow. So with that, I would love to pass it over to you, Deepali, to tell us a little bit about who you are, a little bit about your background, and then we could start talking about your organization.
Well, thank you, Georgie. First of all, thank you for having me and New York Tech Alliance. What an amazing outfit, and being able to feature so many awesome people in tech. So I really appreciate being here. For those in the audience, my name is Deepali Vyas. I am the founder and CEO of Fearless Plus. I've had a 20+ year career in executive search and leadership coaching. I have been leading the global fintech and applied intelligence practice at Korn Ferry, which is a global talent solutions firm. So, being a public company senior partner, always doing work in tech, really inspired me to think about what I need to do for the next generation, which is really the foundation of why and how I started Fearless. And, we have a really small but mighty team at Fearless that's putting the tech in ed tech. So really excited to share about what we're doing with Fearless today.
Awesome. And I love that you're working in the ed tech space. One of my earlier startups was in the space because it's so important and critical for the youth to be connecting education with technology. A lot of schools and educational facilities don't bridge that gap. And it's unfortunate that it's until too late that students learn the essential skill sets that they need to be successful in the real life and in their adult careers, in which we spend the majority of our lives as adults. So tell me a little bit about Fearless Plus, what you guys do, and how it all works.
Thank you. Yeah, so Fearless Plus is really trying to help high school students prepare for professional and life success. And I want to start off with a couple of stats. So only about 52% of high school students feel that they're prepared for the workforce. And about the same percentage feel that they're prepared for college. And what that really tells us is that there's a lot of these core critical skills that are not being taught in our high schools today, which is where Fearless is trying to step in and bridge that gap. So for us, we are the destination where kids or teenagers specifically are able to hone in on their EQ, or emotional intelligence, rationality, adaptability, and all these core critical skills that are going to make them successful in life. And what we do on top of that is we're actually building an awesome platform where these teenagers can actually showcase all of their accomplishments. So think about it as you know, a youth LinkedIn and LinkedIn Learning. So not only can they showcase themselves and really kind of display their personalities, you know, our platform is coming out in May, and we want every single teenager, exactly, we want every single teenager across the US and globally to be on this platform where they can share their ideas. I mean, we have teenagers that are starting businesses in their garage, and you know, these are really cool projects, and you just don't see these accomplishments on a black and white resume. So even though I've been in the executive search space, I'm really boldly saying that the resume is dead. We really need a multi-dimensional portfolio, and it starts early. You know, all these kids are on social media, and college admissions officers are looking at, you know, what these kids are up to. Employers are looking at what everybody is up to on social media. So, you know, this is part of the reason why we started this. And you know, some of the soft skills that we're teaching is around, you know, communication, verbal and nonverbal, psychology, you know, being self-aware, being able to take constructive feedback, business etiquette, personal finance, intro to investing. You know, these are just life skills that, you know, when you, Georgie, you know, we're probably coming out of college, that these are things you wish you would have known earlier. And we get that all the time. You know, we have high school students that are saying, Deepali, I want to learn how to do my taxes. I'm like, you don't earn money, but you don't earn money yet in order to qualify for taxes, but they're interested because they don't want to be in a position where they're going to be left behind, or they're in a position where they don't know how to manage their finances. But at the end of the day, you know, just sort of a closing stat is that 92% of employers, so really my clients, are saying soft skills matter more than hard skills. So we took that and we created this awesome platform where, again, we've kind of boiled it down to a formula, and we're teaching these kids in really educating them, but in an entertaining way.
Absolutely. And I love that, because it's really, a lot of times it's the soft skills that will, you know, shift a person's perspective, because, you know, you may know all the science, may know all the math, like the calculations, right? The numbers don't lie, the calculations are there. But when it comes to those soft skills, that's going to set you, you know, that allow you to have that competitive edge. Are you able to have a conversation? Are you able to clearly share your point of view? Are you able to have empathy with other people around you? So those soft skills are so essential. And I'd love to learn, you know, so the official app is launching in May. So can you tell me a little bit about the experience of like beta testing and building it? Was it hard to get into schools and working with people, or did it click immediately? Because I know that process can be tedious.
Yeah. So like I said, you know, I have a partner that put the tech into ed tech. And so when we brought our skills together, really the foundation of Fearless was around, okay, what is the curriculum going to be? What are these modules going to be? And originally I was trying to curate all of this material. And by the way, Fearless Box actually started off as a box and not digital. And so when the pandemic hit, we decided, all right, there's going to be supply chain issues and all of these things. We can't physically get this material to these kids on a monthly basis that isn't going to disrupt, you know, supply chain issues and things like that. So we scrapped this sort of, you know, physical idea. And during the pandemic and all the kids were sitting at home, we shifted to digital. So we have an online learning management system that is self-paced, and we were able to build that and put all of our modules on there. But the cool thing about our modules are that, you know, kids can watch videos. It could come in a form of a podcast. It could be articles, and there are interactive challenges. and there's journaling exercises, because we want them to be a little bit more interactive than just thinking, oh my God, this is a video that I have to see, and kind of, it doesn't feel like school. And so the technology behind that was an awesome learning management system that these teens can log into. And then we on our website, which, like I said, in May, our Connect platform will be live. So they'll be able to fill out their profile, put a TikTok style video about themselves, and all this really cool stuff. So we're really super excited to get that launched. Right now it's in development. We actually have developers all over the world that's working on this. So it's really, really exciting. We have people, we're actually supporting the people of Ukraine. And so we have developers in Ukraine and in Russia and in Poland and other places. So, we're really excited about helping those individuals and being able to give back, but keeping this a very technology forward company.
Yeah, and I love that you all were able to pivot, because pivoting is so essential. And now, at the rate at which information is moving, right? Like something that we find out right now is already too late. It's old. Like there's new innovation.
That's right.
And so building a more live, reactive platform is so essential. And how did you see students respond to that? Because I know there are certain challenges around, getting kids to actually take these classes. I know for one, like even as an adult, sometimes when it's an online platform. So how did you all tackle those challenges? Yeah,
surprising. And I meant to answer your question earlier. We actually did a beta pilot over the summer. So July of 2021, we did a beta pilot. We actually advertised for getting free, volunteers to do this program for a month. And parents and teenagers alike signed up for the platform. We were running ads like, I know you know about Mesopotamia, but do you know how to present in class? Or, something that really struck a chord. We know that you are learning about, the quadratic formula, but do you know how to do your taxes? And, those types of sort of realistic messages struck a chord with our teens. And that's why we had teenagers writing into us. We put out our beta pilot, and we were oversubscribed in 3 days.
Wow. That's amazing.
And so, it was a really awesome feat for us. And then the teens that were in the program absolutely loved it. We had 100% positive feedback because our modules were so different than school. They were entertaining, and they learned stuff that they just weren't learning in school. And they loved the different modalities, right? They could put their earphones in, go for a walk, and learn something. And so that was really cool. And then we also created this sense of community where there were teens from all over the United States. And by the way, we had 5 countries represented. So we know the demand is global. We had representation from Kenya, from India, Australia, the UK, and Canada. So we had these global teenagers coming together once a week and being coached as well. And that's when we knew we had something.
Nice. I love that. And, you're focusing on teenagers, right? And a lot of people may say that range may still be too young. So why is it teenagers? And that I'm assuming like, junior, senior level versus like freshmen in college. So talk to us about like the differentiation by how soon you get the information, how big of a difference that will make.
Yeah. So look, with the pandemic, the social and emotional learning loss has really been amplified. And we've seen that. So I have a young son, he's in 5th grade. So he gets to be the guinea pig of all of my, mad scientist experimentation. But what we learned with, and my partner Mike also has three sons, and they range from 6 years old to 14 years old. So in thinking about what they're learning in school and really kind of monitoring it, and bringing sort of our personal and professional experiences into Fearless, it was really about, look, I've interviewed 40,000 executives in my career. So I know what great leaders look like. And it's not about how they can do the job, but it's all about the soft skills that they bring to the job and are inspiring. And those are skills that when I started peeling back the layers, there was no reason why we couldn't teach these skills earlier, which is why we looked at the college market, and we know that, the college market, we certainly feel we're certainly going to enter that market. But I also felt that the high school market was prime for this type of opportunity. And I'll tell you why. If you think about back to your college days, and I was thinking about my high school days, think about what type of anxiety you felt in figuring out, what am I going to do with my life? What college am I going to choose? What major am I going to choose? And what's sort of the career path I'm thinking about? And it's a very vulnerable age, right? And then the other part of it is that, with all the hormonal stuff that's going on, you're fighting with your parents and all this stuff. I can imagine a parent's anxiety about, how do I make my kid become successful and prepare them so they have the right tools to get into the real world. And so we saw a lot of that. And I just felt like, going back to my high school days, I did a lot of things. I was in engineering camp and all these random things. But when I chose college, it was not very well thought out. I called my aunt, who was in Detroit, Michigan, and was like, what major do I choose? I mean, and when I think about it today, it's like, why on earth would I do that? Right? Like, why on earth isn't this information democratized and accessible for these kids at this time? Exactly. So that's why I said, Fearless should be in the business of making sure that this access is democratized, that they have access to industry experts. So we have industry experts on our platform that speak to all types of stuff. I mean, we've had media experts, we've had design experts and stuff. So these kids are actually learning about careers in high school. So they're not paralyzed about, I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. It's really about this access to information.
Absolutely. And I love the fact that you mentioned, that anxiety that you feel, especially in that high school phase. There's a lot going on. And I think, when you're in college, not only do you have the anxiety, but oftentimes you're alone with it. So it's just even more overwhelming and more paralyzing. So yes, definitely. I know, similar to you, I was in a lot of clubs in high school, and I was trying to find the answers, and I wanted to learn. I was in this mode of like, I have to learn, I have to apply myself. And I think you have a little bit more energy as well. Like, I'm about to graduate, I'm going to be an adult. Yeah. So that anxiety is energy, but when you get to college, that anxiety just is anxiety. Yeah. And so you have that sweet spot to allow the students to grow.
That's what I love about high school students. They're idealistic. They're so energetic. They want to do good for the world. I mean, we have, modules that are focused on impact and social impact and things like that. And so it's such a great time to develop really good habits. And so, philosophically, we're like 15 minutes a day. That's all you need from Fearless to develop these really great habits that prepare you. And so that's what we're getting at. And we don't want them to think like, oh, it's like homework,
Yeah. And I love the fact that you just mentioned habits, because habits are so critical to how we, setting that foundation of having strong habits and boundaries of like what we do and don't do is going to be what catapults us. Like you said, you've interviewed over 40,000 people. That'll impact that future success rate. So thank you so much. And I want to start shifting a little bit to now the technology. And so like you said, you have the team member that like is in the core of the technology, but what have been some of the challenges, right, that you guys have come across while building it?
A lot, from getting the payments module on our website, right, to we're going into website 2.0, but getting the website up and just making sure that, the margins were aligned, and that, our website was a mobile first website. So when, teens and parents were looking at it on their phone, it was really easy for them to access information. So when you think about, and we were using to get down into sort of brass taxes here with, looking at WordPress and all the plugins that we needed to use. And there were a lot of things that broke and a lot of testing that happened. And luckily we have a lot of, really wonderful, computer science and project managers that were able to kind of, test, fail, fix, and test again. And so that's what we've been looking at. And we've had really great designers that had a really keen eye on, okay, well, what is the user experience on our platform, right? Are there too many click-throughs? And are they going to get tired of clicking through too many times? So, a lot of stuff was broken, a lot of stuff was fixed, but I would say that those were some of the technology challenges. I do have to say that, we've been using LearnWorld in terms of our learning management system, which is really robust, and you're able to customize that. So even for a sort of technology novice that can kind of move things around, it was very easy for us to do. And then luckily, obviously, we have a solutions architect and things like that are kind of focused on getting things right. The big technology lift, however, is developing that Connect platform. So, Connect is a really big lift for us. And we have, multiple developers developing our, basically, this youth LinkedIn from scratch on a native application.
Wow. And I love that. And how do you envision that connecting to the other platforms out there? Because you mentioned, like, they have a lot of students already have like TikTok and social media. How are you talking to them about their uses of those platforms, as well as like putting it into their personal pocket tech stack? Like, where do you see it fitting in all of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So our platform actually, we want this Connect platform to be where everything sort of resides. So we have a place where, if you don't mind, I can share, I can give you a sneak peek of our platform.
Yeah, I'd love that. Let me go ahead and make sure you're able to share. We definitely love that. I get an insider view, guys.
Really, like super secret view. Let me just see if I can do that. But to answer your question while I'm bringing this up, is that we want everything to sort of be centralized on here. So when you look at their profile, you can see the rest of their social media applications, but everything is really centralized. So I'll share my screen for just a couple of minutes, and hopefully my developers won't get too upset with me. But this is Fearless Connect, and this is coming out in May. And so under the Discover tab, you'll be able to find advisors and mentors and students alike. And these students have the opportunity to share if they're open for internships or if they're open for mentorship, or you have someone like me that's being a coach and an advisor to these individuals. There are internship opportunities and other opportunities that we're going to be sharing on the platform, which is really great for these high school students. But here's the portfolio that we're talking about. This is going to be where we are, this will go live in May. And teenagers will be able to customize their portfolio on here. So you have, this will be, the header will be customizable. They'll be able to share the courses that they've taken on our platform and the skills that they've learned. They'll be able to display it here. So a college admissions officer can come in and understand, Lital is a confident, task-driven, empathetic person. There's a video of her here where, she's talking about herself, what her career interests are, what her personality traits are. And here are the things she's learning from us: teamwork and leadership and active listening. But it goes further, where you can double click on our modules here, and you can see Lital has taken nonverbal communication, presentation, handling feedback, so on and so forth. She can also display her projects here, where she's done really cool things in STEM, and then her volunteering experience. All the sports that she's done, and this is all video and static images. So let's say you're an awesome football player, you want to be recruited by one of the college scouts, you can do your highlight reel here and just point them to this platform. And then your experience and your education and other awards. So this is what we're calling the modern day multi-dimensional portfolio. And all of your social media is here, your Snapchat, your Instagram, your TikTok. So no one is kind of trying to search for you in all these platforms. It's all right here.
Wow. I think this is so amazing and so essential, because I know, I was a little, I was definitely techie back in high school. So I made like my own like Wix Weebly website to kind of put up a portfolio. And, LinkedIn is there, but I think LinkedIn is it is what it is, but it's still outdated, right? Like,
Yes.
having a more robust view, especially as it directs towards like, a child's mind, like a younger person's mind, and just like the way we think, right? And we can update more lively, and it feels organic and like engaging. That felt like engaging website versus like, oh yes, I'm looking at like you said, a black and white resume, like 3 pages long. Like,
well, and you hit the nail on the head, Georgie. There's only 9% of high school students that actually have a LinkedIn profile. And of those 9%, basically those profiles are empty because they don't know what to put on there.
Because it's like very more strict. It looks more.
And it's professional, and they get a little anxiety. I had high school students say, I'm really anxious about not being able to fill it out, so I don't know why I would do it. Versus where ours, there's volunteering experience, there's projects that you've done, and then eventually our 2.0 version, that was the MVP that you saw, but our 2.0 version is going to have a live feed, so kids can share with one another, like, hey, I'm selling shoes out of my garage, and does someone else want to help me? And so it's going to be this really interactive community. That's how we envision this, and it's going to be the destination for these teenagers to showcase their attributes, but then also learn leadership and life skills along the way.
Yes, I am in love. I have a son, 4th grader, and he needs to be on it as soon as he gets
gonna get on.
Yeah,
we're probably gonna dip into the middle school market, but we really want to focus on the high school market because it's just at that stage where some other interesting stats that you might not know. 30% of high school students do not go to college. And so think about, how are these high school students going to display their accomplishments and have a potential employer see that, right? And then, a lot of the high school students are thinking about summer jobs, summer camps, internships, etc. And it's a very fragmented way for them to access these things. And we want to be able to centralize that for them.
Yeah, definitely. Because I know I have a cousin, she is a 9th grader. And so she's like, can you help me get a summer job? And I'm like, what are your interests? Like, what do you do? Do you have a resume? And and I feel like, especially when you're in that younger phase, your resume literally is nothing. It's like a paragraph long, but you still have experiences, like you said, projects, clubs, that you're a part of at school. And, you try to display that. And in a written sentence, that doesn't show a lot about you, but a video, something more interactive, definitely will give you the depth necessary.
Yeah. So, they could be building Legos, and they could do a TikTok style 60-second, here's my Lego, and this is what I did, and I spent 14 hours on it. As an employer, that shows me that you had a lot of grit, attention to detail, and all of these things, and it showed it in a 60-second video. That's what that tells me. And so I think that's how Fearless is really revolutionizing the way colleges and careers are preparing for that next gen workforce.
Definitely. And it's speaking the language that they're speaking.
Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, they're so used to doing videos. I mean, my son's on TikTok. He's in 5th grade, and so there's a little monitoring going on. But like, he knows about TikTok. He doesn't post on TikTok, and that's the other thing. The vulnerability of these teenagers. Like, we want to have a positive impact on social media. And the fact that they can actually showcase what they're doing in a way that's so positive and controlled, it's a really good platform, right, for them. And it's a confidence building platform.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I want to shift into now, we talked a little bit about the technology and like the experience building. I want to shift into, your personal experience as a female founder, right? This is the female founder spotlight. So how has that been? You've been in the business corporate industry, but now switching to more startup mode, smaller organization mode. Have you felt any differences? Have you guys tried to fundraise? Just talk about the experience of being a female founder.
Well, a good plug here. We are fundraising. We are doing our friends and family and angel round. So we are in full fundraising mode. I think that as a female founder, first of all, just the concept and everything around Fearless is so well received. And for me, sitting in the seat as a female executive and female entrepreneur has opened a lot of doors with other VCs and other people in the industry because they are truly interested in supporting a female founder and getting this off the ground. We know that there's a market need for it. And the fact that, I'm able to bring, credibility from my work experience onto this platform, it's actually been really wonderful. I'm actually part of this female network, Dreamers and Doers, who has been amazing, opening the doors and opportunities for me. So, we've had a lot of nods from VCs that are female focused, right? So, or funding female founders. So I think it's truly been a wonderful experience. We haven't been knocked down too much. So, and platforms like New York Tech Alliance and what you're doing, Georgie, is always helping the next generation of female technologists and founders. So.
Yeah, love it. And I'll double plug Dreamers and Doers. That's how we connected. And I've been a Dreamers and Doers member for a while now. And it's important to have these spaces. And I'm so glad, that we can have these conversations. And I'm pretty sure if we look back at some of the earlier episodes of the Female Founder series, and this question is asked, what challenges have you experienced as a female founder? The answers are harsher. So we're happy to see that, a lot of the work that these groups have been doing and just policies and just organizations all together are saying that they want to support female founders. There's an initiative to support female founders, and it's actually happening. Female founders are feeling supported, as well as recognized for the work that they're doing and having an equitable play in the industry for tech enablement and tech companies.
Yeah, and I think that there's always room to improve, right? And so, as a female founder, I would love sort of the larger VCs and more sophisticated angel investors to come and say, hey, Deepali, have you thought about this? I mean, a lot of that strategic insight is really critical at this stage. We've only been raising for 3 months, and we've already had a decent amount of capital committed to us, which we're really thankful for. But we have to get to this next step, right? We're trying to raise $2 million, and so it's a large chunk of money. And having the right strategic advisors to tell us, all right, this is how it should be constructed, that's what I would really implore the investment community to continue helping female founders like myself. I've had, a very, I have a strong knowledge base in sort of executive compensation and things like that from my previous career, but now, putting an entrepreneurial hat on, some of these, pre-seed rounds and how they're constructed is new to me. And so that's where, the resources are really, really critical.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And as you talk about like fundraising, I'd love to talk a little bit about, the business model, not too crazy, but just talking about, what is the goal and who are the customers? Are the students pay for the subscription? Is it something that the families pay for, the schools pay for? So who should we be thinking of making introductions to you for, and like, how does it all work?
Great question. So we are a direct-to-consumer platform. So that means the parents are the buyers, the teenagers are the users, or some teens can buy for themselves. I'm not, I'm not crossing them out. But so we have a B2C strategy, but we do have a B2B strategy as well. And so for schools that are looking for social and emotional learning content, we are happy to have our modules fit that school curriculum. By the way, our curriculum has been curated and put together through not only my professional experience, but master's and PhD level educators and psychologists. So, we know that the stuff that's in here is really truly great material, but specifically for this audience. And so, we've checked a lot of boxes from that perspective. So yes, we'd love to have, direct conversations with schools because we know that there has been a deeper focus on social and emotional learning. But, we are a subscription-based platform. And right now we're running a special where if you get in early, it's $9 a month for these modules. And then you can create a free Connect profile with us once that is launched live in May.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Love that. And so, we talked a little bit about, where you are now, the journey to get here. I want to talk a little bit about the future for Fearless
Mhm.
Plus. So, the app is launching, that's happening. You're raising the fund, you're fundraising.
Yeah.
But what else? Like, where do you see Fearless in the next year, 2 years? And like, what are some of the dreams and goals that you have around Fearless?
Yeah, so we do love to dream, and we've put together a very long-term vision. What we see is that our content becomes sort of the de facto content for teenagers across the globe. I'm almost saying that I want to see Fearless as sort of the high school MBA, if you will. It's really
Nice.
kind of all the tools that these teenagers need, whether or not they want to take a gap year, they want to go for a summer internship, they want to go to college, or they want to enter the workforce. We also we know that places, large technology companies have now come to us and said, we don't require a college degree. So what does that mean? That opens the door for high school students to really directly apply to some of these opportunities. So when you think about Microsoft, Google, Netflix, Facebook, et cetera, they're already pipelining talent at a really young age. And if we can get the content to these kids where they're more self-aware and they have really a high degree of emotional intelligence, we know that they're going to be successful in those jobs. Just a quick stat for you: individuals with higher EQ are 400% more likely to succeed over individuals that have lower EQ. You also get a $29,000 head start over someone that has lower EQ than you. Now, imagine if you got a head start of $29,000, 10 years from now, how does that compound? So
Yeah.
you're in a really great position if you have these skills, and these are the kinds of things that we want to teach. We want ourselves to be a very household name. And look, I mean, my dream is that every single teenager is on our Connect platform, connecting with all these opportunities and learning all these really great skills. And who knows, we may have a Fearless University and beyond.
Love that. Love that. And I cannot wait to start sharing this with the young people in my life because, I had to hack my way through all of these skill sets and figuring things out and just attending it. It was a hack to put together. So it's amazing that there is a solution that has everything in one place and I could really grow faster because I'm imagining, things that I got like early college or I had to hack together. Imagine if I had the right resources or I had a proper support network and proper tools. So thank you so much for sharing that. And as you continue to work, what is your ask for this community? And we're going to open it up for questions from the audience. So if folks want to start and dropping some questions into the chat, we'll transition to those in just a moment. But what is your ask from the New York Tech Alliance community? How can we support you?
No, thank you. Well, Tech Alliance community, one, obviously we're doing a fundraise. So anybody that you know in your network that is interested in supporting female founders and particularly in ed tech and shares our vision and philosophically aligned, right? We are mission driven. We want to, for every 5 subscriptions, we're giving one away to an underserved student. So we want to make sure that when I say democratizing access, it truly is democratizing access because we know that we have to lift every child and not just the ones that are able to subscribe to the platform or have parents that are able to subscribe to the platform. So that's one very important thing that I want to say. The second thing is if there are any cool, tech plays that are happening that Fearless should be looking at, certainly we are absolutely open. We're looking at, new ways of video feeds and other types of, plugins that we can use for our Connect platform. And lastly, I would say if you're in the education community and, you're looking for SEL content and, what we have to offer, we would love to talk to those individuals as well. So those are the 3 big things. And then Georgie, I would say that we have put together an awesome 8-week summer immersion program for teens this summer. And so that is going to be out on our website pretty soon, but it's an 8-week intensive program. And at the end of it, there's going to be a virtual summit where we're going to have guests from CNBC, from NASA and SpaceX, and really, really cool professions and companies around the world. And these kids get a front row seat and they get access to these individuals directly. So we hope that anybody that's out there with teenage kids, please, please look into our summer program. We'd love to make that a big hit.
Awesome. Thank you so much for committing your time today. Thank you so much, everyone in the audience, everyone that's watching the replay. It is so important that we have these conversations because we see founders or we see success stories, 5-10 years down the line, or even sooner, right? At, billion-dollar valuations. And we wonder, how did they get there? What was the journey like? And so having you be a part of this journey with us here and sharing your story, and we'd love to have you on the New York Tech Alliance stage, as for our monthly pitch night, we have the New York Tech Meetup. So I'd love to have you there. And speaking of that, the next New York Tech Meetup is going to be on April 5th at 5:30 p.m. So go to the nytech.org website to register and learn more, as well as participate in upcoming series of the Female Founder Spotlight. So Deepali, any final thoughts or just, words of motivation for the audience here?
Look, we want everybody to have a fearless future, and that's why we've named ourselves Fearless, because we want you to have the power of choice, or want to have the power of choice. And anybody that's interested in learning more, it's fearlessplus.com. So anybody that's interested in learning more, please come to our website. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm everywhere, so please find me.
All right. Thank you everyone for attending. Thank you so much, Deepali. I look forward to talking to you soon. I have some questions I'm going to reach out to you about. And that is all for today. And we look forward to seeing you on another episode of the Female Founder Spotlight series. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.